Well, January continues to stick around the same way a cold does. I'm freezing and I'm staying indoors because, like I said before, nothing is happening. That's not true, Sam. Alex Garland, what are you doing in my white void? Hey, stop laughing. I'm here to tell you about our new movie, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Oh, another one of these films? Didn't the last one take like almost 10 years to release? Why do we now have one less than a year later? Well, we filmed this one at the same time as 28 years later, and this one wasn't directed by Danny Boyle. It was directed by Nia DaCosta. Oh, what's she done? Um, she did the Marvels? Nope. Wait. This one's actually pretty decent. And besides, you know what Disney does to talented directors? Yeah, I guess so. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, which, yes, I will be saying in a comically deep voice for the rest of this video, was such a bizarre experience. I hadn't really seen any marketing for it, so I was essentially going into this film blind and was expecting a spin-off based around Ray Fiennes' character, like a film version of an expansion sequel along the lines of Spider-Man Miles Morales or Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. And oh, how wrong I was. Not only is this not a spin-off, but it's a part 2, continuing directly from where 28 years later left off. Spoiler warning from here on out. The Bone Temple is split mainly into two stories, that being the kid from the previous film being captured by a group of Satanists named the Jimmies, whose favorite movie is Human Centipede and favorite food is probably Soylent Green, and another story following Dr. Ian Kelson, played by Ray Fiennes, who starts a bromance with a zombie he's attempting to cure. If that doesn't make you even the slightest bit interested, then I don't know what will. The whole film culminates with Ian and the Jimmies eventually crossing paths, with the Jimmies assuming that Ian is Satan himself, which makes sense considering who else would choose to build giant towers of human bones like some demonic version of Minecraft. So, Terraria, I guess. It's at this point in the movie where, and this is the best way I can describe this, an Iron Maiden music video plays out as Ian is forced by the leader of the Jimmies to pretend to be Satan. First, there was the planet where everyone sings in the Marvels, and now this. Nia DaCosta, do you want to direct a musical or a music video or something? Because if you do, you're being very open about it. I'm not complaining, because unlike that scene in the Marvels, this is actually awesome. But that's natural, considering anything with 80s metal in it is immediately going to be at least 10% cooler by proxy. Alright, enough of the positivity. I have to have something I disliked with this film, so what is it? Well, you know the whole zombie bromance I brought up before? My problem isn't with that particularly, though it is way less interesting than the other plot, and the way it's laid out kind of results in tonal whiplash. It feels like you're watching Saw, but every few minutes it switches to regarding Henry. But considering how much time is devoted to it, it might be literally half the movie. I was expecting it to come back at the end in a bigger way than it did. It does come into play in the ending of the film, but it feels a little anticlimactic. Ah, but Sam, they're saving this story to be continued in a sequel. Didn't you see that ending? You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up, viewer. In case you didn't hear me before, here comes some really big spoilers. The ending of The Bone Temple features the return of Cillian Murphy. No, that zombie was not him in the last movie, so I guess he was just a big fan of Cillian Murphy and was doing a cosplay when the outbreak occurred. So yeah, essentially they set up a sequel with Cillian Murphy and his new daughter. Finally, after all these years, 28 days later too. Only this time there's a notable absence of the other two characters from the ending of 28 Days Later, which means he's probably been through some crazy canon events while the other films were happening. There's nothing wrong with this ending, but I'd usually advise against sequel baiting unless you're sure the first film will do well. 28 Years Later also ended on a cliffhanger, but that film had the benefit of a genius marketing campaign, being a brand new entry in a franchise that hadn't had one in almost 10 years, and also not releasing in the month films go to die. As for the technicals, the cinematography and shot compositions are well done, but are much less innovative than 28 Years Later. There's no shots like the ones where they had to glue a bunch of iPhones together in this one. But the effects are still just as gory and visceral as ever, and the makeup work is much more prevalent this time around. Overall, I'd say that The Bone Temple works well as a companion piece to last year's film, and I might actually prefer it as a whole package, but I walked away thinking that 28 Years Later was the more interesting of the two. I'd be happy to see where they take this story next. That is, if they continue the story at all, considering this has been flopping hard, which is a shame because while I think this movie is just okay, this is a movie that clearly has a spark of creativity and artistic vision, which seems so rare from big franchise entries. But again, that's just what happens in January. That's all I got for now. The next review should be Return to Silent Hill. So if you're interested in that, then be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and hit that bell icon to be notified for whenever I make a new video. Okay, that's it. Bye.